Everybody, what's up? Coming to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm going to get right to it with episode 56 and bring in my co-host, our co-host of the sport, Leo Vasquez. What's up, my man?
Not much, man. How you doing? Nice little check-in there from the World Senior Racquetball Championships. How's it going over there so far?
It's going well. Today's the final day of the Senior Worlds. It's been fantastic. It's a really, really cool event. You know, if any of you out there, I think it's 40 and above, if you can get out to the event here in New Mexico next year, the World Seniors run by Gary Mazeroff and his crew, a lot of fun. It's a chill environment, man, but they're super competitive. And it's funny. It's super entertaining too when like they self-ref and, you know, people are taking calls. It's pretty comical, but a lot of fun, great environment. And how about the video of Mildred, you know, on the court? I forget who she was playing. That was awesome. They're 80 plus years old, and I've gotten so many cool comments about that. It was really cool.
I saw that, and then I also saw a little squash 57 on the docket. So
yeah, when I walked up, Richard Al was playing a little squash 57 with Fernando Batista, as some of you know, Red Roo. Yeah, there's all the big names are here, man. It's fun tonight. There's a little banquet. I might go live. You should have been here with me, but you know, maybe next year. And you know, you and I have been on the horn all week. There's some big shakeups coming, Leo.
Yeah, a lot of big news, a lot of things going on, a lot of good things, and some announcements coming soon is what we're hearing from inside sources. People that have been contacted by USA Racquetball officials. So hopefully that's going to be announced any moment. I know you wanted to, check in from the tournament and, give us a little feel of this year's, that's a big tournament. Gary Mazeroff and all his people, they've been hosting this tournament for years and years. I've heard nothing but great things about it. Like you said, a lot of fun competition. I watched the match that Damien played against some guy. I want to know who that guy is. That guy hit like, what was it, 4 or 5 behind the backs? Did you see it? Between the leg? And he's like, every time he would hit it, I noticed he would like look up at you. He'd hit the behind the back and he would kind of look up, and then he was just like, I'm doing this for you. And that guy had a ton of
he was fun. He was funny, man. He was yelling every time he sees me. He makes me do another personal video to somebody in Mexico. And it was super entertaining, no doubt about it. And it's fun. It's a cool event. Definitely want people to come. But you see what Robert Lyons, our boy, just posted, right? Get right to it, Leo. Go ahead and why don't you, Leo, you read the statement to everybody. We wanted to respect the official word and announcement. Everybody that's online, this will be hitting your email box any second, probably be on social media. But here it is. Leo, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm checking my email now. I just received an email, as well as everyone should, and it may go across social media. If it is, you can share that link as well if on Facebook. In fact, let me just to see where the information was distributed. Bear with me.
Yeah, as you know, this was an impromptu Beyond the Court. We appreciate it. We already see well over 30 people watching. Look at Robert Lyons. He just posted it. So, Leo, go ahead and read it. Robert Lyons put it up there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robert, for doing that. I'm still clicking on a couple links. I just want to see. Yeah, so late breaking news here. I'm going to go ahead and read it for everybody. USA Racquetball leadership announcement out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Mike Waddell, the executive director of USA Racquetball, has resigned effective October the 7th, 2022, citing personal reasons for his departure. The board of directors has determined that board president Stuart Solomon will serve in an interim executive director role on a volunteer basis effective October the 8th, 2022. Quote, the board thanks Mike Waddell for his leadership during one of the most challenging periods in the history of our sport. End of quote. Solomon said, quote, the pandemic took a heavy toll on USA Racquetball, and Mike worked steadfastly on behalf of the association and always with its best interest in mind. End of quote. Over the coming weeks, Waddell and all of USA Racquetball will continue to focus on ensuring the 26th. I'm sorry, I'm having to switch over because I didn't get all of the. Okay, 26th annual U.S. Open Racquetball Championships is a success. The transition from Waddell to Solomon has already begun in an effort to make it as seamless as possible for the racquetball community. Members can expect to see continuing communication as we move through the transition and are encouraged to reach out to Solomon with any questions at president@usaracquetball.com. Last paragraph, USA Racquetball plans to publish an executive director position description in the near future. The timing of an executive director interview process and anticipated start date is yet to be determined. For more information, you can visit the USA Racquetball website at www.usaracquetball.com, and they list their Facebook and their Instagram account. So, wow. Big news. That is big news. For those of you that may not understand the structure of what is going on at USA Racquetball, Mike Waddell is the executive director. He is an employee of USA Racquetball. He works for the board of directors. So Mike is a paid employee. You have Connor Waddell. You have Renee Isherwood. Those are employees of USA Racquetball, and they are paid. You have the board of directors, which is unpaid positions. And the board of directors basically runs the association. The employees, and including Mike Waddell, they answer to the board. So Stuart Solomon, the president, based on the press release that was just released today, Stuart Solomon will be the interim executive director.
Coincidentally, during our emergency beyond the court. First off, Leo, there's a lot.
What are your thoughts, Sis?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say. Obviously, we were privy and knew about this, so we had some time to gather our thoughts. So the first thing I want to say is thanks to Mike Waddell. Mike's a great guy. Mike's a good guy.
Absolutely.
I know Mike Waddell a long time. He used to run a pro stop in Kansas City. Then he accepted this job. I believe it was 4 years ago. It's not easy. There's so much work that needs to be done. And we always point fingers, and we do always look for a scapegoat. And it says that he's resigned for personal reasons. You nor I have spoken with Mike or anybody from USAR regarding this announcement. But, obviously we have some insight, and we care about one thing, the common cause, which is the sport. So at the end of the day, Leo, if this is a positive, if this is, to me, an opportunity for USA Racquetball to do something different, because what we've been doing and what's been going on for well into over a decade now, it's just not getting it done. And that's okay, everyone. It's okay to have these difficult conversations again and say, okay, what are we doing? How do we fix it? How can we try to right the ship? Maybe we can't fix it, Leo. Maybe we can't. Maybe we need a lot more work, a lot more support. We're going to need every player to get behind whatever, again, depending on where the leadership takes this, Leo. This could be a big opportunity for USA Racquetball to show that they're ready and they're excited and they're willing to do something a little different or go a different path than what they've done for quite some time. But again, all the best to Mike, his family. He loves the sport. Yes, he was dealt a difficult hand. There's no doubt about it. But he stuck through it, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Sorry, my phone is it's
I know.
blowing up. This is big news.
Same. I get it. You know what? I think it'd be great to hear from the fans. I mean, look, it's a Saturday. We went impromptu here. You got 40 of you on there. A lot of you are active. I see there's a ton of comments going in and out. So forgive us if we can't jump all over that. But I definitely think that, this could be an opportunity. It definitely could be an opportunity. Leo, you've served on the board. You've served on the executive committee. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Where do you think we as a sport need to go from here? We have an open position now as the executive director of the national governing body of our sport. So, great question. You just showed up on the screen too. Maybe you can enlighten some of us. What do we do? Where do we go? What would you advise them to do here?
Wow. Still trying to process this. I do have 5 years experience on that national board, from secretary to executive vice president. So I have a pretty good feeling, what some of those people are going through. I serve with those people. And first of all, let me also say thank you to Mike Waddell, for your service. For those of you that may not keep up or understand everything, Mike Waddell was hired as the executive director 2018. He served on the board. Mike has background in the sport. Every from player to tournament director. To his wife Debbie, who does an amazing job helping him in all those roles. You've even seen her just most recently at the national singles, junior nationals. So thank you, Mike. Thank you for your service. You basically did it all. You worked your way up. You served on the board, then you became the executive director. So there probably wasn't any role that Mike filled. So thank you, Mike, for the service and everything. Personal reasons we don't know. It is what it is. It sounds personal, so it's probably something that we don't need to get into. And I wish all the best for Mike. And I know we'll probably see him soon, hopefully at the U.S. Open. I hope that he'll be there, because this is big. This is big. This is right before the U.S. Open. We did this once before, if you guys remember, with Steve Zarnicki. Steve Zarnicki, also the executive director, also resigned right before the U.S. Open. I think that was in August of, I want to say 16. Same situation. So kind of the same pattern. is what will happen. Stuart will take over as the interim. There'll be an executive search committee, ED, executive director search committee. It's usually the personnel committee and the executive committee. Executive committee is president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So those are the executive committee roles, and then you have the other board members at large. You have athlete reps. So I want to make sure. So it's because the chat is really flowing here. There's just so many questions, and one of the big things that I know you and I like to do here is try to answer questions, be transparent. Steve Castleberry has a great question. Who knows ballparks out of the level? We can get to that. I can tell you this: we are not at the top of executive director salary positions in the scope of sport organizations. We're at the lowest. We just don't have a lot of money, so we can only afford to pay an executive director so much money. So that kind of limits some of the applications that you get maybe outside the sport. Let's get to another question or another comment. Breaking. Oh boy, that's not what we want to see.
That's a good question, Leo.
Thank you, Kevin.
Do you have any interest in that position?
That's a great question. And I've been asked that several times, as well as you have, and we're going to get to that in a second too. I would always have an interest in promoting the sport. In what role? That's to be determined. Right now I have a position with Team Dovetail that I'm very happy with. We are promoting racquetball, and Mike Kinkin and I, we're doing it. And I feel like at this moment, I don't need to be with an organization when I'm already with one. So, is it something I'd be interested in? Absolutely. Is the timing right for me? Probably not at this moment. So if the timing is right for somebody, someone's going to get that job. And I want to get to you too. You've always had an interest in doing more for the sport. So this is an opportunity for somebody to step up, grab the reins and run, so we'll get to that in a second. Is the job desirable? Headaches versus pay. It's an amazing job. If you love racquetball, you would want this job. I want to keep scrolling through the comments.
You know what? That's a question that I guess whoever does get the job, they really have to consider it when applying too, because I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions about, what it might take to be successful in that position. And quite frankly, is it even possible?
Since we've only had 9 executive directors in the history of USA Racquetball, I had to refresh my memory on some of my homework. It started in 1969 with a guy named Ken Parco. He started as the executive director. He lasted about 4 years. You can go on USA Racquetball's website and you can find out most of this information. The longest tenure belonged to Luc St. Ange. Luc remained as the executive director for 24 years, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Luc's platform for the history of the sports, everybody knows. He was big on the Olympic dream. Luc was all about the Olympics. He's very involved now in the International Racquetball Federation. But Luc absolutely led the charge of, that was his, I guess that was his, stamp that he tried to leave. Leo was, let's get into the Olympics. And we all know how that's gone. But anyway.
Yeah, it's all about timing. And then after Luc, it was obviously Jim Heiser, Dr. Jim Heiser, who coincidentally is having a birthday today. So happy birthday, Jim.
Absolutely.
We'll share some moments with Jim here after this chat. But and then we went into this Steve Zarnicki, Jason Thorner, and then here we are at Mike Waddell. So a very prestigious position, everything in the sport of racquetball runs through USA Racquetball, including what I think is the biggest asset to the sport. And a lot of people don't consider this, but it's the rules of racquetball. Because if you don't have a standardized set of rules, our sport would mean nothing. So, on top of rules, membership, competition, there's a whole list of things. We have some of that information that we want to share with people because I served on that board. I knew what we were looking for. They're going to put out a job duty description. We'll see that soon. That will be made public. So I'm curious to see exactly what they're going to be looking for.
Yeah, I mean, we know, obviously we get to speak to a bunch of people, and again, we have some information on what it takes. But at this point, Leo, we've been around a long time, and I've been around a long time too, wearing many different hats. Are we so afraid to go a different route, to bring a different bold type of energy, a different type of vision, a new agenda? Because obviously what we've been doing just isn't working, right? I mean, look where we're at. The time is now. We talk about opportunity, and the time is now. Now's the time to do something different. If we see the same old, or, it's great to be rah, we're going to do this or that. But my concern would be, can it really be done under the structure, the way that USAR is structured as a nonprofit? You and I talk offline in depth, and we have great advisors and great counselors and people that have been there, done that, some that we've lost because they've just been so frustrated, but would be willing to help if the right person is in there. Can it be done the same way, or do you think we would need to change it?
Well, to be transparent in everything that we do, I went to the USA Racquetball website. And if you go to their website, you can find out all the public information. It's there for you. And in the news section, the last board update, I think it was on the 15th of August, they provide a recap of the board meeting minutes. And you can read where Steve Zarnicki, who is now the treasurer of USA Racquetball, former executive director, Steve has a wealth of knowledge serving, as the executive director, somebody who looked at the financials every single day. If you're like a regular person, it's like checking your bank statement every day, checking your bank balance, your check, whatever it is. You know exactly how much money you spent, how much is coming in, how much you need at the end of the month, and how you need to finish the year. You got to put your business hat on now. So, you have to project. So Steve is very knowledgeable in the background of the financials. And then now he serves on the board as the treasurer. So Steve fully aware of the daily operations of the organization. And Steve's recap of the minutes you can read where he says in his analysis of the financials that under the current situation of the business model of USA Racquetball, which is primarily membership, that if membership does not change, then they're going to have a hard time, finishing the end of the year, on hard times.
So in layman's terms, right? Right. So in the current model, in layman's terms here, because again, sometimes drastic times call for drastic measures. If everything continues as is, they're just going to go bankrupt and go out of business, and we can't let that happen. Those are not specifically the treasurer's words, but that's what he's alluding to. Is that accurate?
He is, and they also rely on the U.S. Open. Let's not forget, the U.S. Open has always been the biggest fundraiser outside of membership as far as revenue goes.
And again, this is all documented, right? So there's nothing. We're not telling you anything confidential.
No, absolutely not. It's information that, like I said, you can go online. They're a nonprofit, so they have to publish their 990s. They have to publish their tax returns. So you can get a pretty good idea financially of where they sit at. So those are just things that that need to be evaluated. Is membership down? Yes, but why is it down? Okay, it's down because there are less events. There are other ways to increase membership, I think. And maybe somebody that's, whether it's Stuart or whether it's you or whether it's the new ED, somebody's going to have to figure that out. You're going to have to figure out how to increase that revenue. You're going to have to figure out how to increase those sponsor dollars. You're going to have to figure out how to increase participation. All right. There's a lot of things you're going to have to figure out. And figuring out doesn't mean, you're going to have a succession plan. You're going to have to say.
But again, hopefully that plan's in place, Leo. This is part of the issue, right? Like, what's the planning? What if they saw this coming? You're reading minutes that are public, info. Anybody can go pull them up. It sounds like they saw this coming a while ago.
Mike Courier makes a great point. Sponsorship is key, and without looking at the most recent financials, um, I don't know how they're doing in sponsorship and fundraising. I know we're all struggling with, the times that we're in with the cost of travel and things like that. So, we're having a hard time just getting enough money just to go places. Um, so, it'll be curious to see who's gonna have a plan, and that you're gonna have a plan for this job. That executive search team, they're gonna be doing interviews. They're gonna be doing second interviews. They're gonna be doing third interviews. They're gonna have to find the right person. They got their hands full.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and I think that right person, they have to be willing to say, hey, maybe there's a different path we're going to go down now. Again, Mike Waddell, just a great guy, and in a difficult time. Maybe it was just too much at the end of the day, Leo. And we both wish him nothing but the best. I'm sure he'll always be involved and be part of racquetball. It's not just about that. But I tell you what, even whoever goes into that position, I'll announce it right now, Leo. Yes, I will apply for that position. I am going to apply for it. But I hope I can lean on Mike Waddell and learn from the mistakes. It's okay to talk about things that went well, things that didn't go well. And my extensive network and relationships, those people I'm going to lean on, because if I got that opportunity, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to fix this or change it. I know exactly what's going on in our sport. Same for you. We talk about it, and we might go into it with a team mindset, but we do agree that it's time for the proverbial table to be flipped upside down and maybe have a reset here.
Yeah, I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to process it, Suds. I'm trying to. I don't want to rack my brain on it or try to wrap my head around too much of it, but just trying to understand where we will go from here. Mike Waddell came in at a tough time. He came in during the pandemic, and that's tough for anybody. But now we're out of that. We are done with that. Clubs are opening up. Outdoor is thriving. We're going to get to that here in a second. So I think it's really time for somebody with some great energy,
relationships,
and relationships. But it's the energy, and I think you bring that. It's like, everything you brought to the court, I see you bringing outside the court. And I know you said you're interested in the position, so. It's time to start letting people know that, if you're watching this and you're interested, same advice. You need to let people know that you're interested in this position and that you can do it and you can handle it. This is really a membership based, driven position, because our audience has shrunken. Okay. So we have enough people where we can go to our members and say, look, guys, let's get together here and figure out what we want and who we want. And who we want to lead it and what we want to happen. All right. We're not talking about reaching out to, millions of people. We don't have the manpower for that, but we have the manpower to listen to our customers, our players, our sponsors, our donors, and say, hey, what do you guys want? What do we need? What can we come together and do without personal agendas and, without personality conflicts and such. We've had that over the year, and so I know you've experienced some of that. I know you tried to get on the board, and for whatever reason, politics got in the way and kept you from doing what you wanted to do, but it didn't stop you. So, that's why I'm curious where your heart is at. Are you holding on to that? Have you let that go? I mean, what are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, the board story is pretty public, and that was in 2017, and I've consistently tried and attempted to do everything I can to be in a position where I could make a difference on a bigger scale. And obviously, right, I won't let anything stop me when it comes to our sport, Leo. This is my livelihood. This is what I do every day. This is how I provide for my family. And there's no doubt that if I was in that position of leadership or in a position where I could make a difference, I'm going to give it everything I have. And that doesn't mean that, I have all the answers, but what I do have is an amazing support staff. And some of the phone calls that I've received from some of the biggest supporters, not just financially in our sport, have contacted me and said, hey, I back you. We back you. What do you want to do? And I explain it to them just like you did. And Leo, you're going to be part of that. We joke that, hey, if I do go after this, I'm going to lean on you to help me with what can I do? What can I do? And you could tell the people, my question to you and others has always been, am I capable? Can I do it? And I think there was a time where that answer would have been no, but today everybody's answer is the same, and they're like, absolutely, you're ready. And they list some of the things that are necessary, whether it's relationships, whether it's energy, whether it's passion. Also, no fear. I'm not afraid to fail. I was talking to somebody earlier today, Leo, a big influencer in our sport, and they just said it's a no-brainer. They don't understand why they wouldn't call you immediately and say, we'd like to offer you this position, because again, other than the structure and the way they have to do the application process, Leo, what do we have to lose at this point? And that's scary, right? But if I have to run through that wall that's on fire for the sport, I'm going to do it. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not so great at. But I promise you this, the people around me, like yourself, I'm going to lean on you to help. And if I get that, I don't even know if I get the opportunity. I really don't. I'll fill out the application. I'll do the application process. Jonathan Clay, different. We're going to have Jonathan on the show soon. I don't know, Leo. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of politics that go into this. And I know we try to say there's not blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there's personality conflicts, or sometimes being in the sport for as long as I have been, people may have judgment from 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and that's okay. I'm not mad at that. I just want to do everything I possibly can to make sure that our sport not only survives, but thrives. And I hope it's not too late. So, and yes, Jonathan Clay, thank you for that. Different. Why not?
Yeah, it is going to take a different look, a different set of eyes, a different mentality. Have to reinvent the wheel, but there needs to be strong support. And not to say that Mike didn't have that, but this is the opportunity. This is something that Mike is willing to let somebody take and run with. I know Mike. His life has been racquetball. His passion is racquetball. You guys have seen him. He religiously did the show, the Real Racquetball Show, which you started, Suds, but they continued it. So I know that Mike wants things to go on and be bigger and better, but I'll be curious to see. Is there a strategic plan that somebody will bring, or will it be a succession plan? It'll be good to see something refreshing and something new, because we need it, and the timing I question right now. All the comments are flowing about the U.S. Open. This is going to be a tough time, whether you're the interim or whether you're the appointed ED. Is financially, you're going to come in and you're going to be strapped.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But again, I'm not going to let that stop me. Leo, we were talking, you and I were talking, and people were talking about how brutal 2020 was. There's no doubt about it on our sport, right? But what was everybody doing? Were people still getting paid? It didn't stop us. I was in Vegas 2020 at the outdoor event trying to promote it, trying to do everything we can. If I would have stopped, well, then Veronica and I and the kids would have been knocking on your door asking if we could move in. You just got to keep fighting through it, and you're not going to give up. Amir, that's a great time for that question. What is your vision for outdoor racquetball and growth then? You know what, Amir? I think 2020 would have been a perfect opportunity to pick up outdoor racquetball and just ride it. And maybe we would have been at a different place today had we focused our energy on that. But I say it all the time, Leo, indoor, outdoor, it doesn't matter. I think it's racquetball, and we have to come together and check those egos at the door. It's not just about outdoor. It's not just about indoor. It's about the sport. Okay, so whether you're an indoor player or an outdoor player, understand that we're all in this together. We got to get through it, and we'll see what happens, Leo. I'm definitely discouraged. You know me, I'm a confident individual, but I don't know if I'll have a fair shot at potentially even getting the interview. A lot more about the process and all of that, and we've talked about it. And I've asked you, Leo, is this something I really want to go after? We talk about that, and you could talk about it now if you want. But I do, because if it's sinking, or if that building's burning, well, then let me run into it and just follow me. And I promise you, I'll give you every ounce of energy and everything I can do to help right that some way, shape, or form.
It's all going to depend on the they put in the press release that they're going to release their search criteria, and that's when it will start. I think the next step for communication for them with membership will probably be the posting of the job search, and it is what it is. It's a job posting, and it'll go wherever they decide to send it. They could use LinkedIn. They could use the USOC job pool, which they'll post it there. They'll post it on their website. They'll post it to the membership, and then the applications will start to be accepted. In that job search, you'll see items in there that will list the qualifications and the responsibilities. So it won't be any different than applying for a job. It'll obviously, this is a high-level management job. So, but you're not talking about a big corporation. You're going to only have to manage a handful of people and a handful of contractors. So it's very manageable for you, for anybody that's interested. You're not going to be running a large corporation, but you're going to have, I think, that large to mid corporation mindset. It's time for USA Racquetball to maybe, like Zarnicki said in the update, the business model that you're currently operating needs to be reconsidered if this is the way you still want to go.
And those are his words, and that would be one of my arguments, or one of my, bullet points that I would address. I might say, is this working? Can we change it? And Leo, those are the things. I don't know if I'm in there or not, but to your point, it's an executive director position, but it doesn't pay executive salary. I also think an important thing here is that, yes, I've seen this pop up. It's not time. We can't afford somebody outside of the sport to do it. The number 2 or 3 guy at the USTA is making a couple $1 million, or PGA. We need somebody in the sport with the energy, with the relationships, with the ability, with the lack, the no concern of having no fear and saying, hey, let's go do this. Let's do it together. And Leo, yeah, if I felt that support and I felt the members supported that, I'm definitely going to apply no matter what. I mean, if they said it was a super low paying job, I feel that I need to be in a position where I can actually make a bigger impact. Because right now I think there's a lot of people out there, whether they're influencers or people that are doing good things for the sport. I think they've created a group of mercenaries. So, everybody's doing what's best for them. And, we're ultimately, we need the sport to do well and kick ass, and we got to keep it going for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll through some of the comments. Brian makes a observation and a comment about, you not getting an interview. Look, everybody's going to get an interview that applies for the job.
Is that how that works? Yeah, educate, because I don't even know. Is that accurate? So if you apply, you're definitely getting interviewed?
Yeah. So going back to my term on the board, I was with USA Racquetball for 5 years. So under our term, we interviewed and ultimately hired 3 executive directors. Those were Steve Zarnicki, Jason Thorner, and Mike Waddell. So the process kind of went about the same. It's a standard process. They'll give you the contact information on where to send your resume. The resumes are collected, and then we would set interviews. In this case, they were obviously Zoom interviews, video interviews, remote. Everybody got an interview. Nobody was denied. I think the only recollection I can think of in that process in the beginning of that was one person withdrew their application. Other than that, everyone got an interview. Everybody gets a first interview. And that was part of the process that this executive director search committee will do. They will gather all the information, they will set the processes, and then once they have their first interviews, then they go to round 2. You get a second interview, you'd be called back for a round 2. Once you get to round 2, quite possibly there could be a third and final interview. You are the third, this is your third interview. We'll just use you for an example. So it's like, this is it for us, because we're going to take your name and we're going to bring it forward to the board. So everything will have a process. In the past, it takes about 2 months, believe it or not, to hire somebody.
But can that be sped up? I mean, do we have 2 months?
You have to have, yeah, you do, because you need to have a time frame to allow to apply. You can't just say, hey, we're only accepting applications for a week and then we're done. So there is a process, that you do kind of want to follow. You want to give ample time for people to apply for the job, and then you've got to set up the interviews, and then you got to go back and it takes time.
Who does the interviews, and then who ultimately makes the decision of who gets hired or not?
So as I explained, the executive director search committee. Now this is in the past. It could change. I'm not on the board anymore. Let's make that perfectly clear. The executive search committee, they do the interviews. We do have some questions that we do ask everyone, the same questions, so that way everybody kind of has an equal shot. Once we go back and do those interviews, then we evaluate that interview. We evaluate your responses. There could be a grading system. Because like you said, you may be really good at some things and you may not be good at some things. So you'll be given some type of a grade.
So again, there's a committee that then takes the individuals that applied and makes a recommendation on who to hire. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So everybody will, like I said, get interviewed. The search committee team makes their recommendation, and then it goes to the board. The board could reject it. They could. Go ahead.
So not to cry over spilled milk, but to cry a little bit over spilled milk. So when I ran for a board position, my name never went to the members to vote on me. They stopped it and said, no, Sudsy, we're not even going to put your name on the slate to be voted on. Is that the same? So if I and you apply, there's a committee that's going to decide whether or not we even get go to the next level where they can decide whether or not to hire us. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Not every applicant will be presented to the board unless they're all qualified. I mean, you're not going to, you get 10 applicants. You're not going to send all 10 applicants to the entire board. That's what the search committee does. They whittle it down and they try to find 1, 2, maybe 3, who knows, of the best applicants for the job. And look, trust me, I guess you'd have to go look online and see who all those people are, but I guarantee you, all those people are gonna make the best decision for the sport. Now there's personal agendas, there's personality,
that's always the
conflicts.
issue.
There's personality conflicts. There's
right,
and hopefully those people can separate those things and check those at the door. Because look, I took that job very serious. And I put a lot of thought and work, and I hope that I made the right decisions, because I always made what I thought were the best decisions for racquetball and never for me. If I had a problem with somebody, I had to put that aside, and I'm hoping that if any of that comes through again, we get the best applicants and they get presented to the board to vote on.
Could I do the job, Leo? I mean, I've asked you this offline, but would I be good at this position right now? What are your thoughts?
I think, look, here's what are you good for the job? Can you do the job? Yes. It's like a competition though. Okay. You're going to be in a pool of other people. Okay. You're going to be in a pool of, I don't know, maybe they might get 6 to 8 applications. All right. We're going to get applications from people that are outside the sport. All right. The job of the board is to line those people up and say, who is the best person for the job? And it's going to depend on how they're thinking. Are they going to, want to try something new?
I think I'd certainly be something.
Scary.
I'd be something new.
You could fit into that category, but new meaning bringing somebody in from outside the sport. And I hesitate with that.
Well, I mean, we just brought somebody outside, right? Connor's been in position, and again, he's dealing with 6 events. But I think part of his issue is he doesn't know the sport, he doesn't know the culture, he doesn't know the people, the relationships. So, I think in our sport right now, it's vital that we have somebody that knows the sport.
Amir, to answer your question, it would depend on the search committee. There could be 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. it is going to be up to the executive committee to pick those people to serve on that committee. And that will be, first of all, writing the job description, the duties, the responsibilities, the qualifications, and then the process of how that works. So that executive director search committee team, they will start this process. The president, the vice president, they will lead this. They lead this search. So they will try to find 3, 4, 5 people to serve on this committee that have experience in this. They may bring in, I would think they would bring in one of the athlete reps. We got Jake, I think we got Jake, Charlie, I think Michelle De La Rosa. I'm sorry I don't have that list in front of me because this is we were just supposed to be talking about world seniors and three-wall ball, but now all of a sudden, here we are searching for a new ED. So that search committee will do it. And like I said, it could be a number of people.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just hope we do the right thing. I really hope that the current leadership in there, and when I say leadership, I mean the executive committee, the board of directors, I really hope they're not afraid to do something bold and do something different and really, really go after bringing some life and energy and excitement and credibility back to our sport. A lot of did you really just put that comment up? That's pretty funny.
Well, let's clarify again, because people are logging in and they're not knowing. So the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and then the rest of the board members, those are non-paid positions. Those are volunteer positions. Those are usually elected positions. If they're not, they're appointed by the president. So there's a process to get on the board. You can be nominated, and then you can be approved by the board on an approved slate, and then which means you make it to the ballot. If you don't, if you're not approved on the slate by the board, then you can go the other route, which is you have to collect signatures. And once you collect the signatures and they verify them, you're on. No matter what, you get on the ballot.
That's the board stuff. I mean, I think the biggest issue, or whoever's coming in, whether it's me, whether it's him, her, whatever, we got to face the difficult issues that we're really having, Leo. It can't just be all, vanilla sundaes, whipped cream, and cherry on top. And we have to go that route. It's time. Tick tock. Don't give me everything's great. There's no issues. I was talking to a member, a board of director, or a director, or somebody on the board, a board member. And I actually asked them point blank, do you think what we've been doing is working? Do you think what we're doing is helping the sport? And they actually said, well, yeah, I think we've come a long way. I don't buy that. Do you? Just yes or no. Robert Lyons likes yes or no. Do we need change?
I don't think, it just depends. Look, if you already said you have an interest in running, in applying for the position. I wanted to finish that up. I was explaining the board structure so that you guys could understand that part. We're talking about paid employees now for the organization. So the paid employees are the executive director. You have Connor Shane, who's the national events director. Then you have Renee Isherwood, who is in charge of membership and U.S. team. Sorry. So those are the only 3 paid employees. Now you have contractors that do things for USA Racquetball. I think Amy Roller does her social media. They pay her a monthly stipend. I do the U.S. Open marketing. The emails and the social media that you see, they pay me. But I'm an independent contractor. I'm not an employee. So you have some independent contractors. Maybe the people that went and built the portable court at the World Games in Birmingham for USA Racquetball, Eddie Meredith, Anthony Herrera. Those are independent contractors, all right? But there's only 3 paid employees. That's it right now. Mm-hmm. So that's the position that we're talking about that Mike Waddell resigned from. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with the chat because now it's starting to flow again.
Yeah, easy on the comments you flash up there. I'm gonna get some mean text sent to me, and We have a producer in the back room. It's not Leo nor I. So if some texts go up that you guys don't like, it's not always us. All we can do is change them. Yeah, Leo. No, I agree. I think that hopefully the process is fair. Hopefully everybody gets a fair shake, and at the end of the day, hopefully decisions are based solely on what's best for the sport, best right now, and best moving forward.
Yeah, Sam Schultz with a comment. Do you think contractors will change? I doubt it, Sam. I think they're going to want to leave things kind of in place. It's already hard enough replacing the executive director. Stewart's got some big shoes to fill at the last minute. This is the sport's largest tournament coming up. Let me see. I think we're close to 200 entries right now. Let me look at that while we're talking. Which is good, but it's it needs to be more. We're at
200 entries is good right now for the U.S. Open. Clarify that. Considering what?
It could be worse. Could be worse. Just keeping it real. It obviously needs to be more. They're at 195 right now, with the deadline of September the 15th. So clock is ticking. That's going to be a huge weight on Stewart's plate, and for all of the staff. Connor has his hands full. He has a hard time right now planning. He has no idea what he's going to get. And what that relates to is how many shirts do you order? How many medals do you ship? How much, how many hours do you need? How much staff do you need? So, and then the timing of this, the timing of the ED resigning. So there's just still a lot of unanswered questions. But Samuel, I don't think they'll change contractors. They said it in the release. They want a smooth, seamless transition, and who doesn't, right?
Yeah, I mean, seamless or smooth. I want to see hard work, good decisions made. I want to see trust, faith, and confidence back in that organization for the entire sport. Not a small group, not a really small group, the entire group. And I think that one of the main things we need to do with our leadership is have amazing communication, Leo. And I think we need to really do that and really think about that.
What do you think about the comment from Gene?
What's Gene's comment? It's time for a racquetball paradigm shift in the USA. Change now. Break away from the old model of hiring. Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. But again, I'm going to be the minority in the small group of 15 people. I think that we have a small enough. I think we have a small enough pot to look into, or to grab whoever might be the next executive director. Contact those individuals and say, hey, are you interested? Because we want to speed up this process. Let's do it and see what happens. But again, Leo, and this is my biggest concern, based on the current structure of the 501c3 of USA Racquetball, the nonprofit. I don't know if they can do that, with the bylaws and how it operates. But yeah, if it was up to me and some of the, very experienced businessmen I've dealt with, I don't know if we need the nonprofit still.
Whole nother show, whole nother show to talk about what could be, what if. We've had those conversations. Those conversations have floated around the sport. Whether the business model changed, whether the organization changed, whether there was a rival or a different organization, there just needs to be an evaluation. And if that evaluation comes from within USA Racquetball, Suds, you're going to have to deal with 11 to 12 people. You're going to have to deal with quite possibly 11 to 12 different agendas. And then you're going to
But I think that's part of the problem. I think that's part of our issue. So then maybe it is time for a new structure. And yeah, you know what? If it doesn't work and it's going to be the same, maybe it is time for a new association. I know, I've been contacted about doing a new association. And my argument is there's too much broken glass. We don't need that. We have an organization in place. Let's just fix it. Let's, optimize it and maximize the abilities of that organization for the sport.
And, Brian's comment about the Good Old Boys Club, let me make something kind of a little bit more clear on that, you guys. I really don't believe that anymore. I don't believe it's a good old boys club. It wasn't like that when I was on there. What made it hard for me was sometimes the personal agendas got in the way. And when you're talking about making decisions for the sport, it's best to just move forward and make these decisions instead of having meeting after meeting after meeting and talking. Let's look. I learned this with Mike Kinkin at Dovetail. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to throw stuff up on the wall and it might not stick. But you know what? We're going to try it. We're going to do it. We're tired of talking about it. And that's what I like about working with Mike. We do it, and
Just get it done.
Just get it done. Forget about having a meeting every month and talking about it. Let's get some action items on these minutes. I do understand that, some decisions require, some thinking, but it's time for action. I think everybody out there wants to see it. I think, look, we have our audience here. You guys type in the chat. Who do you think? Who do you think would be a good executive director? We all know everybody in the sport. Suds, you and I were talking about that. We have our top 5 list of tournament directors, our top 5 list of social media people, our top 5 volunteers, our top 5, so we already obviously know within the industry who's good at what we do. So why don't we pull from those people? Why don't we reach out to those people? And that's what I would like to see USA Racquetball do, if they're going to do that. Reach out to the best people in the sport and make sure they're on your team.
That's why you're my chief of staff. And, that's the first thing we would do, is immediately make those lists and contact everybody in the sport and say, here's what you're great at. How can we help? What can we do? Not, I'm not going to call you, you call me. That's a whole nother show. But yeah, these are the things we need to do. We need to communicate. We need to get it out there. We need to do a better job at including the people that really want to be part of it, that really want and have the best interest of the sport involved. Too often it comes down to, what do we hear, Leo? We've been hearing this for years now. It's all about money. Yeah, we don't have money. Yeah, we only have this. I'm not disagreeing, but that doesn't stop you. You keep going. You keep pushing. You do everything you can to not just survive, but thrive. Okay. And, that's what we need. We need that. We need somebody that's going to be able to mend a lot of relationships, to bridge a lot of gaps, to bring the so-called street cred back, to have that respect back. And I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm going to apply as soon as they say I can. If they want to speed up the process, I'll do a live interview. Let's do a live interview, board. Give me the interview live. We'll have all the racquetball players and fans vote on it.
I kind of tend to agree with Kiri's comment. Let's don't put so much stock into a title. I understand that you have to have leadership, and all the other sport organizations within this USOPC, which we haven't talked about. Let's do what's best for racquetball, and that would be part of it. Kiri is breaking away from the USOPC and says, you and I have had these conversations before. The benefits and the values of hanging on to this relationship or this membership or this dream of being in the Olympics with the USOPC. So, I just don't know. I just don't know if we need that right now. I think we're in a position now where we need to do what's best for racquetball and not what is best for IRF and USOPC. We need to do what's best for us.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And again, transparency, that would be one of the first things I would do as executive director, Leo. I would take that contract and that agreement that we have with USOPC, and I'm living, I live the dream. I've been on Team USA. Some of my best friends are still competing on Team USA. I might have a chance next time to go do it in a couple months again, but I don't know if that's what's best for racquetball today. And I would take that contract if I could share it without it, breaking confidentiality. And I would share it with my most trusted advisors and business-minded individuals in other areas and other arenas, and say, show me why this makes sense. I want to know if we need to stick with this or not. That would be one of the first things on my agendas. One of the first things I would look at that agreement, that contract, and say, do we still need to be doing this? Because I think we're using a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of money in something that may just still be a dream. Did I lose you? I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Sorry.
Now I got you. Yeah, I got you.
I want to address Robert's comment because the comments are flowing right now, and that's something that we want to address. That's what I said, Robert. I wouldn't call it a good old boy network. It's personal agendas. To me, the good old boy network would be, myself and three other guys, and we're all drinking buddies and racquetball buddies. We're boys, and that's what I relate that to. In no way, shape, or form, because I served as the chair committee for the election committee. I served as the chair for that committee. So I can guarantee you, Robert, that I did not sit around in a good old boy environment and say, "Hey, no, not Sudsy, no, not Robert." I just personally felt like it was agendas. Somebody, and when you're on a committee, and you guys know this, you've served on committees, it's who can influence people. And I think sometimes that influence goes a little bit too far. USA Racquetball says that everything comes through the committees. You know what? Maybe it's time for that to change too. I understand there has to be work that has to be done on certain things, Hall of Fame, US team, junior team, but not every single thing has to come, through a committee. Elections, probably so, but I just wanted to let you know, Robert, that I don't feel like it was a good old boy. I just felt like there was some personality conflicts and some personal agendas that stood in the way of that.
There were some people that didn't like us. It's okay, or maybe they didn't like our audience or the ability to influence the sport as a whole, because that's all we care about. Volunteers, Leo, I love volunteers. There's so much we can't do without volunteers in life, right? There's no doubt about that. But also, volunteers are just that. They're not getting paid. They're not waking up and paying their bills and providing for their family on a volunteer basis. So what's the answer? What changes can we truly make? So Robert, I agree. Leo's right. I don't think it's good old boys that's out the window. I don't think it's that. I just think it's personal agendas. And that's the issue. And again, in layman's terms, not as politically well structured as Leo's statement. If I'm on a committee of 10, 12, 13 people and I don't like you, I'm going to influence others to not like you and not vote for you, period. So it could be one individual that can change the very path of our entire sport. And that's scary, man. That's scary.
Yeah. I'm going to be curious to see where we go from here. We'll wait for the search committee to present the criteria and the guidelines for what they're looking for. Now this rests on the shoulders of the board. And look, don't forget, this is a membership-driven organization. So if you feel really strongly about something, check your email, go to USA Racquetball website, go to their Facebook, and get that email address. I think it was president@usaracquetball.com. And you got to let them know. Okay, if you feel you want to see something happen, tell them. If you feel like you want to see, a certain person, if you feel like Sudsy is the guy for this role, let them know. You need to let them know, period. Because this communication is shared within the board. If it's very little, it may not. But if it's something that you feel strong about and that you're passionate about, it could be you. If you feel like you're the person, contact them and tell them, I'm the guy. I can do this job. But you got to reach out. You got to speak to those 11 or 12 board members, because they are the ones that drive everything to make things happen. If no one contacts them, if no one says anything about you, Suds, it just doesn't go anywhere.
No, I know, and believe me, I get that. You know what, we deal with it, and I deal with it. In some personal people contacting me from all over the country about complaining or want issues, and I do the best to communicate that. And obviously now you and I do that together, where we try to bridge the gap, so to speak. A lot of times I tell them, I say, so-and-so, you need to tell them, email so-and-so, copy me if you want. Maybe that'll, alert them a little bit more or get them a little bit more involved. But it's important. And I agree with you, Leo, 100%. Let them know. Do I ultimately think that gets what needs to be done to happen? Again, maybe not, because of the structure of the nonprofit organization. And listen, I know this, Leo, and you know this. There's going to be a ton of board members or friends or family or supporters that are going to watch this, and they're not going to be happy, and they're going to be angry, and they're so negative. We're not negative. We're just honest, and we're being open about what we think needs to happen versus everything's great. And yeah, even if they come out with a message, well, everything's not great and we know we have issues. Yeah, Mike Waddell did the best he could with what he had to work with. I don't put this where we're at today on Mike Waddell by any means. Or you know what, Leo? I don't put it on anyone in those committees or on the boards. Maybe it's just time for a complete change, a disruption. Let's go for it. Hey, what would be a good problem, Leo? If we ever have to have the conversation about, wow, the Olympics actually contacted us. They want us to be involved. But I want to be a voice for the sport. I want to be a voice for the people. And I want to bring everybody together. I want to bring everybody to the table. And again, I'll do the best I can. If I have to cross the T's, dot the I's, and make my resume look optically, exciting to the board members, I'll do whatever I have to do. We joked about it. If I get an interview and I have to wear a suit and tie, I'll do that. Are these the things that are necessary to help our sport? Am I too opinionated, Leo? Am I, is my hair not the right hair for the position? It's sad. I think we should be so far beyond that. And if I was leading the ship, if I privately owned USA Racquetball, you know what I would do right now? I'd call them and say, hire somebody now. We need somebody today. Speed this up. How about that?
I want to answer. I agree. We've got difference of opinions on how to make things happen here. There are 12 board members, and since this is a membership, driven organization, and a lot of you on here are USA Racquetball members, you should know who they are. Stuart Solomon, your president. Terry Rogers, your vice president. Steve Zarnicki, your treasurer. Michelle De La Rosa is the secretary. Charlie Pratt is the athlete rep. Those are your executive committee members. And then you have your other board of director members, your at-large members, Todd Boss, Mike Grizz, Maurice Miller, Laura Pasek, Cindy Tilbury, and then the other two athlete reps, Jake Bredenbeck and Danielle Maddox. So I think it's important for people to know who those people are.
I'm gonna publicly say this, Leo. I don't know if I should. You're my chief of staff. You want me to text you before I say it? I guarantee you I'll immediately bring an influx of funds too. How about that? Because I've been reached out to by some of the biggest supporters and financial supporters of the game that said, I will back you. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't think it would be fair to say a dollar amount, but I promise you we'll be bringing money right away because we're going to need it. But I also will look and see where we can cut some fat too and trim some expenses that I don't believe are entirely necessary at the moment.
That's going to be one. That's going to be one part of the job. Just trying to think back to, to the days when I was involved with that. Finance and budget, revenue generation, communication, marketing. But the big thing for me is going to be development, and whether it's existing players, new players, junior players, there's going to need to be something in there. And if you can't do it, I know somebody that can. And I'm working with a gentleman right now that can. And I know you could too, Sud. So that's what I want to see from the, I want to see whoever it is. And I have an interest too, whether it's you, I want to see, we don't have to do it today, but I want to see your plan. I want to see, John Doe's plan. I want to see the plan. What are you going to do, to grow racquetball? We obviously know what we need. We have a lot of things in place already. We've got national championships, we've got donors, we've got players, we've got a struggling membership program. So development is struggling. So, it's going to be something that's going to need to make an impact.
There's no doubt I don't have all the answers. I don't know if I'll fail or succeed if I was actually given that position, if I earned that position. But again, I would certainly lean on my extensive network and relationships I have to help me. And a lot of you are right there online watching this show. So yeah, there's no doubt that we could do it. We can make a change.
Yeah, Kirti brings up, there's going to be all kinds of.
I could do it. Good, read it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kirti says, if you have funding, then just create your own organization. The best way to rid a bad habit to bring a positive evolution.
Could do it. Let me be clear, Leo, and you know this. We could start an association right now. I don't think that's the best thing for the sport. So I won't do it right now. But moving forward, again, we're just running out of time. And even those individuals that want to be part of something positive or different, they may say, hey, it's time. Let's go do it. And again, here, now we're going to get all here's what we need. We got to do this. We got to do that. Coach, I love you, buddy. Yep. That's another thing we have to do. Keep it going. Keep it going. There's so much that needs to be done. There's not one thing. It's not just juniors. It's not just television. It's not just we need courts. It's not, yes, we have to create the demand.
College program is spot on with me. Also, it's the lowest hanging fruit, as my good friend Don Chopre used to say in racquetball. College kids are coming out. They're getting jobs. They don't rely on mom and dad anymore. They can buy rackets. They can enter tournaments. They can buy memberships. So college development is key. That's in that development. And
this discussion, Leo, is a whole nother conversation about what we need. But we got to do. We just got to get in there and do. And if we just, if we paint this beautiful picture of, oh, we're doing this now and we're doing that. I mean, can we talk about there was supposed to be this amazing facility that was going to happen, but it never happened. And I'm not saying it's not still in the works, but we got to just do things and do it immediately. Things just have to get done, and then we have to execute. Mike Waddell resigned. Mike's a good dude. I like Mike. He's a good guy to hang out with, laugh, knows the history of the sport. It was tough, and I don't know whoever gets in that position right now today. I've been advised by some of my closest confidants. They're like, stay far away. And no way, I'm not ready for that. If that was the case, I wouldn't be involved in racquetball today.
I want to read another comment from Kirti. Let's not kid ourselves. Everyone that's something in the sport is watching this. It's better than watching a tournament than games. That's another issue. And it's for another show. The situation. With our friend Kane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how we don't. We're one professional sport, sadly, that I can think of. And please, anyone else, please comment. I mean, we just watched what Serena did, retiring. It's sad to say that we're one sport that does not really put our legends and icons on a pedestal and say, hey, look what you've done. We watched Serena's out last night, and it's sad. But again, that's a whole nother show. That's not the topic, Leo. We can get to that at another point. The U.S. Open is actually probably part of this topic, even though we're going to have a U.S. Open show. So we could wait for that.
So, kind of maybe start to wrap this up, but, we still have a lot of questions that's going forward. This was breaking news today. No one expected it. No one knew about it. There were some rumors, but now the rumors are true. Mike Waddell, the executive director, has resigned. I have confidence that somebody will step up and they will lead. And that's what we need. We need somebody that will step up and they will lead. And good luck to that person. I know it won't be me. You've asked me, some other people have asked me. I like where I'm at right now. I like where, what I'm doing with the people that I'm working with, including yourself. So who knows, things could change, but whoever that person is, if it's you, Sudsy, or if it's somebody we don't know, good luck. It's going to be tough. And what's going to make it even a little bit more of a challenge is you got to work with these board members, and you're going to have relationships with them. And if they don't believe in you, then it's going to make your job a little bit tougher. I'm not saying all 12 people have to be your best friend and they have to agree with everything that you're doing, but
I agree. We can agree to disagree, but hey, I'm not letting you off the hook. If somehow, some way, I actually was given this opportunity to help the sport at this level, you're going to be playing a big part of it. So don't think you're going anywhere, buddy, because you'll have a role in there somewhere. Because I think that you are somebody that's good for the sport, and we need that too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And, I'm always here. I've never really went anywhere. Thank goodness Mike Kinkin found a way to keep me in. And Fran Davis at Head Racquetball, though, and Jim Heiser. I have my little circle is small within the industry. And thank you to, you and Vero have also taken great care of me and helped me stay in the sport. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay here. But, going forward for you, what are we going to be seeing now? What's on your mind? Getting your resume together. Are you going to be reaching out now, or is this your reach out? Going forward, now it's your platform.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, honestly, Leo, and you help me with a lot of things too. I have events that I'm running, and I think that these racquetball tournaments and events with some great sponsors and supporters need to continue to happen, because I need to keep the energy up, the excitement up, the involvement up. I'm right now, as we speak, I'm in New Mexico at the World Senior Championships. I'm loving it. I'm hanging out with the seniors of our sport. And by no means am I politicking. For any of you that know me, this is just who I am. So, this is, I'm not sugarcoating it. It's my personality. I love our sport. I've been doing it my entire life. I think that I'm going to let the process play out. I will absolutely look to finish up my resume when the application comes out. I will apply 100%. But I'm all in. Leo, I'm 100% in, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that position. Because I'm also going to tell you, I'll be accountable and responsible, okay? I'll be accountable and responsible to all of you, to the entire sport. If I mess up, if something happens, I'll take the blame. It's on me, okay? So, but with that said, if there's boards and committees and I'm handcuffed, if I was ever in that position, well, then we'll see what happens. Again, I don't know. Honestly, openly, transparently, Leo, I don't think I have a shot in hell, no matter how good my resume looks, no matter if I go through that application process. If the 12 board members don't think that I can do the job, then I shouldn't be there. Then don't put me there. But if you think I might be exactly what our sport needs, but you just don't like me, well, then maybe you need to look in the mirror if you don't vote for me. And maybe you need to say, are you really in the best interest of the sport? Do you really want what's in the best interest of the sport? And that's where I'm at. But I'm all in, Leo, 100%. I'm in. You're going to help me, whatever it takes. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get that position. And to your point, man, maybe it's a dumb decision. Maybe it's not the smartest thing for me to do, with the state of our sport and where we're at. But I'm willing. I'm ready. I don't mind the fight. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's roll around and see what happens. I think you're muted. I think you're muted again, buddy. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear Leo? If you can, maybe just shoot a comment. Hey everybody, sorry, I'm not sure. I think Leo's audio. Can you hear my audio okay? Maybe it's me. Maybe you did hear Leo okay. But right now, don't move. Stay right there. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll come right back. Don't move, everybody, please. And then we're going to close it out. Thank you, Mike Courier. Thank you, Performance Chemicals. Obviously, with your continued support, I'm able to do this. Leo, we can hear you now, buddy. Hey, let's close it out. It's 12:15. I got to get back to the club. These seniors are working their butts off. They're playing hard. They're competing. Leo, final thoughts. I'll have my final, and then we'll get out of here. Let everybody go.
Yeah, thank everybody for tuning in. You guys made it another awesome show today. A little bit different circumstance on this one, but I flashed a comment on the screen earlier from my sister Nikki that said, exciting things in racquetball, stay positive. You are absolutely 100%, sis. You know me. You know how passionate, how positive I am about the sport. So we'll take this as a positive. Unfortunately, like we said earlier at the beginning of the show, Michael Dell, congratulations. Thank you for all of your service, from a board member all the way up to an employee and the executive director. So hopefully this is a retirement for you, Mike. I think you were retired. You came out and you helped out, and you led the charge as long as you could. And I hope this is retirement for you. So enjoy it. I know I'll see you and Debbie really soon. And Suds, man, good luck. I'm one of your supporters. It is no secret. I got your back, and I do think you are the right person that could do this. You've got the energy. You've proved it time and time again. It just depends on how this board wants to go forward. I know you're going to have an amazing plan. I know you got a lot of supporters. I know you've got donors that have reached out to you. So let's see how this plays out. We still have some time to go. We still have the U.S. Open to get to. That'll also be some big news for us. And just going forward, man, I hope that you follow your plan and that you get what you want.
Leo, thanks, man. Yeah, I know you got my back, and our relationship has really gotten stronger here over the last 6 months to 12 months, and I appreciate that. And you're going to play a big role and a big part of whatever I'm doing moving forward. If I'm granted that opportunity and I have the honor, really, of serving the entire sport, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with the utmost energy and passion. Anything you've ever seen me do on the court, times it by 10, because the court was actually easy. So you'll get a real taste of what it's like to work with me with energy, drive, and passion. Mike Waddell, thank you, for what you've done. Thank you for your 4 years. Thank you for what you've done in the history of the sport. Again, you went out there, you did what you could. It wasn't easy. It says that you're resigning. I haven't spoken to you personally. Look forward to it, though. And, of course, Debbie, without the amazing woman at the side, us guys can't do anything. I say it all the time. Without Veronica, I'm not even involved in the sport. To all of you, players, fans, everybody that pays attention, everybody that's signed on, everybody that's watching. Whether you think you personally like me or not, whether you know me or not, I promise you this, I'll give you my blood, heart, my soul, my tears. I'll give you everything. And I'll do everything I could to be the best leader that racquetball has ever seen. I don't know if I'll succeed. I don't know if I'll fail, but why not? Maybe now is the time for something different. And if I have all of your support and I have that confidence, trust me, I'm going to do everything I can to not let you down. All right. So I'll continue with the process. Leo and I will keep everybody up to speed. Leo, what do you think about a show Monday night? Can we still do one Beyond the Court Monday? We'll talk about the U.S. Open. We'll talk about 3-wall ball, and we'll get back to that. This was important. We needed to share this. So you and I will talk offline, maybe recap some things, and maybe we'll do another show on Monday night. With that, from Albuquerque, New Mexico, everybody, and wherever we're going to next, thank you for joining Leo and I. Thank you for being part of this. And as always, thanks for having the confidence in not only myself, but Leo, our team that helps us behind Veronica. I love you. And by the way, that flyer, the first one, I did that. I messed it up. Veronica didn't like it, so she fixed it. So everybody go thank Veronica and like the second flyer that I posted. So everyone, have an amazing day. Go play some racquetball. We're going to figure this out. Racquetball is going to be stronger. And it's not going to be all smoke and mirrors. We're going to talk about it. All right. Have an amazing day. Thanks, Leo. Thank you, everyone.
Happy birthday, Highs.
Happy birthday, Highs. See you later.